I'm Latham Jenkins, blogger for Jackson Hole Traveler, where we give you the local insight. And today I'm with Zini Scholes up at the National Museum of Wildlife Art. You know, Zini, I'd have to say that the experience offered up at the museum is something that I recommend to all of my friends and family when they're visiting in the area. Come up, spend a couple hours, have lunch. It really is just one of the great destinations in Jackson Hole. But tell us a little more about what we can expect to experience here.
Well, you should expect the unexpected. One of the things that we do really well at the museum is make wildlife art accessible to all of our visitors. We offer great insight into the paintings and the species themselves. We offer lots of different ways to come to understand fine art, and the art is beautiful in its own right. So you don't have to be an expert to appreciate what we have at the museum. Time and again, what we hear from our visitors is they're impressed by the world-class nature of our collection. And I have to say, I'm impressed by it too. We have work here from experts such as George Catlin, Carl Rungius, to contemporaries like Georgia O'Keeffe, Andy Warhol, Robert Bateman, probably the most renowned environmentalist and conservation artists of our time. So we try to offer a real cross-section, and time and again people see this beautiful building on a hill, drive by to see what it is, and then are even more blown away by the collection within its walls.
Now, you can't help but notice whether you're driving in from the airport or heading up to Grand Teton or Yellowstone National Parks, this beautiful building sitting on the hillside. Tell us more about the setting, the architecture, why this spot was chosen.
Well, we did a lot of things very deliberately in making the building happen. It's 51,000 square feet, but it looks much smaller because most of it's built into the hill. We used an Arizona sandstone, so by building this building even in 1994, it looks like it had always been here. The profile of the building is actually based on the ruins of a Scottish castle. And then we feel very strongly that by virtue of our place here across from the 25,000 acre National Elk Refuge, we have a responsibility to talk about the interface between humans, places, and animals. This facility is outstanding with lots of flexible space. One thing that's very exciting for visitors, especially tour group visitors, is that we can accommodate large groups of people, and we can make special arrangements to make that visit really unique to their group's needs.
Now, I know that we like to bring our kids up here on the weekends and appreciate the programs as locals, but even as a traveling family, you mentioned earlier the Children's Discovery Center. Tell us more about what a family can do in the museum.
Well, families can watch videos about artists or that relate to the collection in our artist gallery. They can come into the Children's Discovery Center and read books. We have a fine library for young children. They can create art on their own with art supplies that are provided. We have life-size puppet costumes for children to wear and put on plays and talk a little bit about the animals that they've seen in our artwork. We also have the fantastic Rising Sage Cafe, which has inexpensive bistro-style dining that appeals to people of all ages.
And if you've enjoyed your visit here, you can also stop by the museum shop, right?
Absolutely.
Pick up a souvenir.
The museum shop is well stocked with items that relate not only to our permanent collection, but also to the numerous visiting exhibitions. We have on average 4 visiting exhibitions a year, and all of them are exploring some different aspect of wildlife art, fine art, and humanity's relationship with nature.
It's a marvelous museum, wonderful collection of wildlife art. I've been here twice, been very impressed both times. I highly recommend people visit the museum.
Definitely a highlight of the trip. Well, we were driving down the road going to the city, and we saw this beautiful rock building, and we said, oh, an old fort or something, and we said, let's drive up, and it was the museum. And we're just pleased as soon as we drove in the parking lot and saw the sculptures. I would recommend it. Do not pass this.
So many people drive, 3 to 4 million almost, right out in front of here, and they don't even know what's sitting up here. And I really hope that if you're considering visiting Jackson Hole, you'll take time, come up to the museum, enjoy the exhibits, have lunch, and make it a real destination during one of your days.
Absolutely.
You're going to leave more informed and more appreciative of wildlife art as a whole, and it just enriches your experience here in Jackson Hole. Again, I'm Latham Jenkins, blogger for Jackson Hole Traveler, where we give you the local insight.